So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a bookmark, and there's a couple things you're going to need, and I'll go along with the steps as we go. But the first thing is a pre-cut piece of paper and a hole punch to start with, and you're going to hole punch a hole in the top of your paper, which I've already done so there. Then we're going to start with the rivet. A rivet is a piece of metal, like so, that holds your paper together without it breaking. So you're going to have the stand, you're going to have the rivet, you're going to have a flat punch, which has a very flat end right here. And then you're going to have the pointed punch, which has a pointed here. Okay, so you're gonna gather your tools there. You're also going to need a hammer to pound it together, okay? So you're gonna start by placing the rivet, that you have here, this metal rivet, onto the stand, and then you're going to place your paper over that. There's a slight hole there, right here, okay? Then you're gonna take the flat punch that I have lift right here. You gotta make sure it has a little hole in the end, and you're going to put it over that hole and hold it with one hand. Okay? So you have it together there. Then you take your hammer, and you're gonna give it a couple hammer strikes hard until it's flat. Not too hard, because you don't wanna break it, but flat enough. So I'm gonna try it here. And you can do it again if it's not hard enough, but basically, if you can see on this, on the video here, is you've got a nice flat metal rivet that goes all the way through, okay? And then to finish it off, you're gonna take the pointed end punch. It's got a little pointed end there. And you're going to give it a couple taps just to secure it again. So you're gonna give it 2 taps. 1, okay? And that's gonna make sure that your rivet stays nice and strong in there, doesn't move anywhere, okay? Part 2 of our bookmark activity is you're going to add some design with a stamp onto it. So a couple things you need here is first an ink pad, and then you need, this is called a stamp holder there. It's just clear and flat. We've got a couple different sizes, like a round one or a square one, okay? And then you have a couple different choices of stamps, okay? So these are just the stamps, and you're gonna place when you want. You're gonna place them on the stamp holder in the middle, okay? Then you're gonna take your ink pad, and you're gonna give it a couple nice firm presses, not too hard, just to get enough ink on there, okay? And sometimes you'll get ink on the side, that's okay. You just have to make sure you clean it off after you're done, okay? So I'm gonna say, let's just make this little flower right in the middle, and we're gonna press nice and firmly, and then there we got our flower, okay? Then we're gonna emboss it. So embossing involves taking a little bit of this color here, and you're gonna melt this onto it. So it's important to do it right away, and just put a little bit on there, okay? Not too much. If you put too much, then it gets all crazy and messy, okay? So I'm just gonna cover it nice and lightly, and then I'm gonna dump the excess back into my container, okay? And then give it a nice little blow, okay? And then I'm gonna take my heat gun, which I've got here, and I'm going to run some heat over the embossing. And what's gonna happen, you'll notice, is that the embossing is going to kind of melt into the paper. So you're creating kind of a raised effect to it. It's very subtle, or just a little bit, but it looks really good when it's done. I can see it kind of melting. I don't wanna get too close to my paper, so if I get too close, then I can actually burn the paper. So I see it kind of melting a little bit. I'm like, oh, that looks good. I'm gonna blow it off again. And you can kind of run your finger over there to get the excess off, okay? But it's hard to capture on the camera so well, but you get kind of a nice raised, shiny look to it, and you can actually run your finger over it later and feel it. So it looks pretty nice. There's a nice little blue effect with the gold there. So it's subtle, but kind of cool. You can go ahead and add different colors and different stamps to it as you see fit, okay? Okay, so now I've added a few more embossings here with flowers and stamps. If I want, I could even, add some scrapbook tape to it to make it look a little nicer. I don't have to, but I can get creative with it. So basically, once I get my bookmark kind of to where I want it, looking nice and colorful, but not too much, I'm going to take a piece of string, cut a piece off, not too long, about the length of my arm. Okay, so I'll put my arm down, I can put the string on it and see how long it is. and I'm going to tie a little knot at the top. And to do this, I'm gonna put the two pieces together, I'm gonna hold them, and I'm just gonna run it around through a loop. If you can't do it quite perfectly, then your teacher can help you with it. So I pull a little loop there. That's a nice little kind of circular bracelet. All right, I'm going to run one side of it, the open side, through here, like so. I'll pull it through, and then I'm just gonna put the knot that I made right through the hole. The knot goes through the hole like that. Okay, and then I'll pull it tight. All right, and then I've got a nice little tassel so my bookmark sticks out. Okay, by now it's looking pretty good. If your teachers want, they can laminate them for you before you put tassels in, make them a little bit sturdier. You can do both sides, it's up to you, but it's really up to you how creative you want to be. The most important part too, the second part, the last part, is to make sure you really clean up your mess. Okay, make sure it's organized. So if we have anything like these stamps, we just wipe them off with some tissue and get them nice and clean so that the next class can use them, because there's a lot of classes doing this activity. Things like embossing powder, we want to make sure we keep it in the container, okay, not everywhere, and make sure the lids are screwed on nice and tight. This is really important because we don't want to lose this, okay. The ink pads themselves, we want to make sure the caps are on, because if we lose these, then they dry out and nobody can use them. So we got to put the covers back on. So by the time you leave, your areas should be nice and tidy like I have on my table here, okay, and where everybody can use it again. All right, hope this helps. If you have any questions, ask your teachers, guys.